Praise be to Jesus. Pray without ceasing, says St. Paul, 1 Thessalonians 5:17. The Gospel of the day brings out the importance of persistent prayer. The Gospel of Luke is called Gospel of Prayer. Not only the evangelist Luke presents Jesus praying, but also portrays quite a number of parables on prayer. In particular, the parable of your friend at midnight, parable of the publican and the Pharisee, and the parable of the widow. Jesus told us the parable to pray always without losing heart. The gospel passages show Jesus praying in the early mornings before accomplishing his major missions and before his passion on Calvary. It was a need for Jesus himself to pray. How much more it is needed for us? What is prayer? There could be numerous definitions for prayers given by many saints, theologians, and so on. As far as I am concerned, prayer is a constant communion with God. This communion should be that of a mother and newly born baby. Their communion expands their love, care, and concern for each other. Therefore, we need to pray constantly. First, pray persistently. Never stop asking God what you need. Many of us face the problem is this, that we had been praying for an intention for many days, weeks, months, and years. However, our prayers are unheard, so we stopped praying. We assume that God does not hear our prayer, but God does hear our prayers if we ask anything according to his will. 1 John 5:14. Secondly, pray like Jesus. Pray like Jesus would mean surrendering our wills, desires, plans in accordance with God. We may ask God favor, but prioritizing his will than ours. In the Gospel of Matthew 26:42, we read the continuous prayer of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. He threw himself on the ground and prayed, "My Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, your will be done." Let us also pray like Christ. Thirdly, pray with trust and confidence. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Mark 11:24. Yes, great things happen when we pray with persistence. Great things happen when we pray like Christ, and great things will happen when we pray with trust and confidence in God. The core message of today's gospel lies in the persons of a widow and an unjust judge. Who are judge and widow in the light of the Old Testament? In ancient Israel, the duty of a judge was to maintain harmonious relations and settle disputes between the Israelites. They were charged with the responsibility of hearing complaints fairly and impartially. Their duty was all the more important because they are expected to settle cases without any benefits. Widows were deprived of the support of a husband, and they could not inherit their husband's estate because the deceased man's property is passed on to his sons or brothers. So, the disputes involving widows and orphans were common in Israel. The parable of the unjust judge and the persistent widow offers opportunities for reflection on the responsibility of the faithful to care for widows, orphans, powerless, and strangers in their midst. If the unjust judge could give widow justice because of her persistence, how much more our loving God, who is full of justice and love, would give us if we ask Him. Just pause for a moment. Will not God grant justice to His chosen ones who cry to Him day and night? The question confidently assumes an affirmative answer. The phrase day and night highlights the need for persistent prayer. Jesus wants us to pray persistently. Only those who insistently pray put Christ at the center of their lives. Only those who instantly pray become attentive to the will of God and become able to listen to the needs of the needy, orphan, and widow. Do I pray with persistence and without losing heart? Live Jesus.